Hi folks, and welcome to the first video that we're starting in the shed. Yes, it's Sunday morning. It's not off to the best start. Way too much milk in the flask this morning. Whoops. But it's been about 2 weeks since I put the shed up, and I would love to say that today I could show you all the stuff I've been busy doing, but to be honest, got this up. I was just crashed a little bit. I've been really lazy, just been taking it easy. I've been up to the plot a few times, I've done a few bits here and there, but mainly what I want to start on today is outside. There is a little bit to show you in the shed, but I think really what I would like to get done is the slabs around the outside, because these were just chucked down, and you can see I've started doing a little bit of leveling here. I've got the rake out. This was quite a few days ago, and to be honest, this is a job I've been dreading. I've not been looking forward to. I've got to do down here as well, and eventually those pallets will turn into a nice little fence. But I do have to just level all these, because at the moment they're higgledy-piggledy to the point of being a little bit dangerous. So I just want to get it roughly set out so you know I'm not at risk of breaking my neck on here. And I do have some membrane at home, so once I've got this level, I'll put down some membrane, sort of cut it to size, and then just place the slabs on here. It doesn't matter if they shift a little bit, they don't have to be perfect. The paving slabs really here are just sort of like a permanent weed control solution. It's just nice to have this low maintenance area between the shed and the greenhouse. Oh, look at this shed. I've just seen it in the camera. It looks so good. Most of the few times that I've been down, I have done a few of the finishing touches. So for example, all of these vertical lats are now complete. I've sort of got a little cutout there, made it match just the slope of the roof. I do want to seal these windows today. I've just got some clear silicone to just sort of put around the edges, make them proper waterproof. And inside, we've got a bit of a temporary setup. I just got out this little folding table. It's a bit rickety, but it works. Got somewhere to put my camera. And a few people in the comments said one of the great things about not having windows along here is it gives me so much shelving space, which is true. It's a fantastic point. It's sort of an accident. I didn't really think of that deliberately, but I think it will work out really well when it comes to kind of outfitting this. I'm still not 100% sure what to do. I need to spend a bit of time thinking properly about how I'm going to outfit this, what's going to go where. I want to kind of get it right first time, you know, lots of thinking about it, maybe map out exactly what I want in here, where I want it, and then shelving, obviously. But I don't want it to be too cramped in here as well. I quite like it, the idea of it being spacious. A little table and tea set up near the windows, certainly. And one of the most interesting questions ahead of me, one that I've been asked a lot and I don't know the answer to, is whether or not I'm going to get a little camping stove in here. I love the idea of it, and if I'd really committed to it, it probably would have been easier to install that like from the off, because now I'll have to cut into the felt and all that kind of stuff, although maybe it wouldn't have made it that much easier actually, and it's just easier to build it first and then put in your little camping stove with the flue. But the main thing that puts me off doing that is basically I am terrified of keeping fire starting stuff in here. I mentioned in the shed build video, we get a lot of break-ins and that kind of stuff, and if I've got fire starting equipment in the shed, you know, I've seen stories about people's sheds being burnt down on allotments by just vandals basically, or maybe rival plot neighbours you've upset in a boundary dispute, or you know, they think you've stolen your strawberries or something. I don't know, but the idea of this thing getting burnt down, I'd cry, you know, I'd absolutely be really upset. So the chances of that happening, pretty slim, but it is kind of like a bit of a concern in the back of my mind, you know. How is the rest of the plot looking? Well, it's okay, you know. I mean, I've not been up here for a few weeks, and before that I've been focused on the shed. So after getting all the beds done and mulched, it's kind of been left to its own devices, and you know, there's been a bit of digging. Oh, something's done a nice poo in there. That looks like cat poo. Brilliant, thank you so much. But generally speaking, you know, after kind of 3 or 4 weeks, that is not bad, is it? I might be exaggerating, it might not have been that long, but it feels like about 3 weeks. There's a few little bits of grass coming up, but generally the weeds have been kept right down. Got a little courgette. Just getting nibbled by something, not great. And I'm really happy. The wood chip, you know, this stuff that I put down, people deduced in the comments, they said this is probably stump grindings. You know, they've had like a rotten old stump and just wanted to get rid of it. And it looks fine, you know, now it's dried out. It actually doesn't look too bad. There's a couple of cabbages I'm gonna definitely be taking home today, and we've got a lot of frosts on the way, forecast for -2. There's no way we get snow. We're right on the coast, and we get snow once every decade. You know, we're very lucky if we get any snow, but it does mean I think today is gonna be final chili harvest as well. But let's get stuck in, do a bit of leveling. I don't want to. I don't want to, but it's got to be done. Let's do it. This was not a fun job. It's difficult to make a video of someone laying slabs interesting. There's kind of two things you can do: complain about it being cold and miserable and boring, or I guess you can insult yourself. This was not my finest work. You'll note I don't have a spirit level. Just completely winging it. And look at all that. That is OSB, like a load of old wooden particle board that was laid on the soil here for whatever reason. Took a little bit of digging up. Considering I didn't really have a spirit level or any proper tools, this actually went not too bad. And I was quite happy with the result at the end of it. But I did not have fun. Sometime later, there we go. It feels amazing to have this done. It's not exactly perfect, you know, I'm certainly no professional patio layer. But for an allotment, this is completely fine. They're really nice and they just hold your weight. Basically, what I want, no big trip hazards, and if you step on it, it doesn't rock around. You know, you're not gonna lose your footing. I'm gonna leave it pretty untidy down there, because that will be walked on once in a blue moon, and I must say I just don't like this. It's not a fun job. Last time I had to do this was for the polytunnel, the main path in there, but it is, I hate it. Hate is a strong word, but when I'm laying slabs, it's just fiddly, you know, like, oh, it's a little bit rocky, lift the slab up, do a bit of brushing, get that supported. Oh, that's nice, okay, on to the next one. Oh, now it's all a little bit off, got to go back, do two more. You know, not fun, but once it's done, it's done. That is the beauty of the slab, you know, so it's worth just sucking it up. If you can get the slabs and you're thinking about laying them, it's never ever something I regret spending my time doing. Always very, very pleased with the result. Obviously, I've got to take these up again to lay some membrane underneath. It's just always worth doing that as well, I think. I didn't do it in the polytunnel because it's such an active area, you know, I'm in and out. I'll be weeding in there anyway. If I've got to pull up one or two weeds, that's fine. There's not really much that's come up in the polytunnel, but under here, I know there's nettles, there's brambles, there's all of the stuff from next door, which is now covered in plywood as a temporary weed suppressant. So, yeah, this is going to be a bindweed. There's going to be a lot of stuff trying to come up here, trying to grow up under the shed in the corners, and I don't want it. I don't want it. You're not welcome here. So I'm very, very pleased. There is a little bit of soil left over. You will have noticed, hopefully, and I'll probably spoke about it in the voiceover, loads and loads of OSB board that was kind of just on the floor and, you know, flaking and really, really annoying, but it's up now. And next up, I think I'm just going to quickly seal in these windows on both sides. We have had a little bit of rain, and so far so good. I can't see any kind of water ingress or, you know, anything to be concerned about in here, which is very good. I did have one very helpful comment about maybe putting a bit of sealant on the top side of this barge board so that water can't get in below there, and I think that's a really good idea. I will do that as well. Not today though, because I've not got the ladder. Not too much to say about this. I'm just using this stuff, clear, general purpose silicone. It'll do the job, keep the water out of the windows. Like magic, there we go. I'll show you the nice one, look. One lovely bead. Don't look at any of the others, let's just look at this one. Perfect, lovely bead. The tricky bit of these is that bit. Don't look there, don't look there. Doesn't have to be pretty, does it? But it'll keep the water out, that's the main thing. Put a little bit under here as well, just to kind of help hold it in place, act like a bit of a glue. The next thing for the shed is definitely painting and then getting some protection on the bottom. I do need to put that latch on as well. I think they're kind of like the main priorities. I did have someone as well saying, JB, you've got to get one of those slate to-do lists like Jessie has, and that was already on my list. That was like one of the first things I wanted to get on here. It's on my Christmas list, so we'll have to wait until we see it for a little while on the channel. But very, very excited. I think that will help me as well to get a bit more organised. I am already just enjoying the shelter of the shed. I've got less done today than I normally would have, having spent this long at the plot. I don't know how long I've been here. A good number of hours, and I've just done... there's been a few tea breaks. But that's kind of the whole point. You know, it might mean things take a little bit longer, but having somewhere to shelter, even on a gorgeous day like today, it is pretty chilly though. It's just perfect. It's really, really nice. I absolutely love having this. It's not very sealed, where I had that soffit issue, and you can see the light coming in the back there. I do definitely want to get something in here because it's chilly. It's pretty much the same temperature in the shed as outside. So I'm not, well, am I planning? I hadn't planned on insulating this, you know, but given that you've got this nice chunky timber, if I did want to, you could get a decent thickness of insulation in there and then just board over it, you know, with some ply or something like that. It's an option. It is an option. It's not on the to-do list anytime soon. It might be nice one day, you know, make it super cozy in here, especially if I do get a little camping stove or a log burner or something like that. For now, the idea is just to get the main stuff done, you know, get the shelving unit, get stuff stored and organised in here, get a little kettle, probably just a camping stove, something like that. But I mentioned earlier, I really did want to put some proper planning and thought into how I organise this shed, and that is true. But there's only so much planning you can do, isn't there? At some point, you just have to start using it, and that's when you really learn what you might have done wrong, or, you know, how you're going to improve it over time. It's exactly the same with greenhouses and polytunnels. You've got to try things out, layouts that you find out, oh, they don't work actually practically for X, Y, Z reason. I think that's just life. One of my temptations has been, to be honest, just to start looking in second-hand, like charity shops for a bit of wooden furniture. But I think the better idea is probably building something a bit more bespoke. But I don't know. It's a bridge to cross, isn't it? What am I going to do next today? Don't know. I'm just going to enjoy this cup of tea, I think. Okay, I think it's time to bid goodbye to all of these chili peppers. It's nice and warm in the greenhouse. This is that time of year where the greenhouse and polytunnel really starts to come into its own. I do find the greenhouse slightly warmer, slightly more enjoyable than the tunnels for that feeling. But we've got a lot of nice Korean peppers on here, looking pretty good. Ring of Fire green ones. That one has just rotted on the plant, which is not a great sign. Still a few nice green ones on this California Wonder, mind you. That's nice and firm. I'm not sure about that Ring of Fire. I don't think that's going to do much more, but we'll harvest all these Korean ones. This Antep Akidolma, loads of dieback now. This one is definitely on its way out. They can sometimes cope with the cold nights, but, you know, cold nights and not really getting up to temperature in the day is a bit of a double whammy, I think. There's a few more Korean peppers on here, but literally one or two. I think this is, I think it's time. We're going to get these out, get them harvested, and then do away with most of these plants today. A few more lovely golden bleeding jigsaws on there. If you want a closer look at all of my chili plants, I did a proper stupidly long tour the other day where we looked at all of the plants in detail, kind of spoke a lot about how the season's gone. It's not been a great chili season, let me tell you that. And there's another nasty thing I spotted in the polytunnel earlier, and that is on here, the Sugar Rush Long Peach. Doesn't have any fruit left on it, and there is quite a lot down there. Mr. Mouse has been very busy and has taken a liking to these Sugar Rush Peach, which is a real shame. Thankfully, has not touched my Kangstar Lemon Starburst, which are looking fantastic. The Primatali Red also has some lovely, horrific, scary looking pods on it, ready to harvest today. My champion chili has been stripped, and they were all green, and I couldn't find any remnants, and I was like convinced that I'd harvested them and lost them, but I think they've probably gone to the mouse as well. Thankfully, thank goodness, the mouse does not like the red habanero. Loads of these to harvest today. Really, really excited for those. For all of these chili plants, it's the end of the season. You're going today, unfortunately. This one, the Chili Chump Jigsaw, looking really good. Not the most attractive pods on here, but we'll get a few off and see how they look. Any jalapenos left? Not really. There's a couple of little green ones. We'll take those. And these other bleeding jigsaws, lots to harvest on here. Looking really good. A few red peppers on here in the chili grow, but they don't look too good. And I think Mr. Mouse has been on this Havana Gold as well. Not a single fruit left on there. How on earth, you know, a little mouse can get all the way up here? Does impress me. It's not looking too bad in the polytunnel. The parsley and the greens have taken lovely. I really need to plant my garlic. I have not done that yet. I think that's got to be next on my list. We've got a lot of cold temperatures coming, and the idea with garlic is that you want to get it in while it's still a little bit warm so that they can get their roots growing before the start of the really cold period in winter. I might end up being too late. If we've got this cold snap coming and it sticks around, there's not much point in planting the garlic, I don't think, because it won't get off to a good start. That would be a shame. I've got some really nice garlic cloves, so I don't want to let that go to waste. So I'll have to have a look, but that should definitely be a priority for me. JB, when you're editing this, note that down. Put that at the top of the allotment to-do list. I think because I've got the polytunnel, I might be able to get lucky with it. Start them in the polytunnel, wait until they've got some nice shoots going, and then maybe put them outside. It's probably going to get just as cold in here overnight, but in the daytime, might be that little bit warmer for them to get their roots growing. We'll see. Let's chilli harvest. Oh, hey, look, and you've got to stick around because after the chilli harvest, look, the sweet potato has died back. Oh, it's lovely and warm in here. So I think it's time. We'll do the chilli harvest first and then we can have a little look in this pot and see how the sweet potatoes are doing. This could go either way. This could be amazing, or it could be absolutely rubbish under there. We'll see. I did have this volunteer bell pepper. Unfortunately, it's snapped, but there is one pepper on there, just hanging in. This greenhouse is obviously still a mess. It was much worse than this. A lot of it's gone in the shed now, but there is as well a sweet potato plant that I popped in the soil in here, and it looks horrific, to be honest. It's not looking healthy. So I think I might have a little dig around in the soil, see if there's anything there, but I'm not expecting much at all. I've been busy, folks. No tea breaks. No more tea breaks so far. It's warm work, actually. Let me show you the chilli harvest. I'm in two minds. It's exactly the same as last time. It's a pretty decent harvest, but it could have been so much better this year. Once again, we have a very nice looking basket of chilies, but this is kind of harvest number 3, and I would have liked to see a few more. There are a couple of plants in particular that are slightly disappointing. The Primatali Red, look at that. And a prime specimen, a really nasty looking chilli with that little fish hook as well, just picture perfect. But I can fit the entire harvest in my hand and I'm barely struggling as well, just struggling to show you. So, yeah, just one of those things, difficult year. I will admit I've generally struggled with this sort of pepper, the rare ones, the super hots. They don't tend to have been grown to be the most productive plants, but it would have been nice to have a few more. Although, if I had many more, I'd be wondering what on earth I was going to do with them all. The good news is, first ever year I've successfully grown the Kangstar Lemon Starburst, and I tasted one of these the other day actually, and the flavour is special, but it's also a killer. It's a deceptive killer because, as the name suggests, Kangstar Lemon Starburst, the burst of sugar flavour. It's like a sugar rush. It's actually maybe more sweet than the sugar rush is. It really is a spectacular chilli, but flipping heck. It's not playing. It's not playing around. That is a hot pepper, and it's that kind of the worst kind of heat for me, like needles in your throat. Really actually slightly unpleasant burn, but one that I could probably mellow out with a sauce. The chili chump jigsaw, I've not tried this one yet. Should we give it a go? Let's give it a go. These look really scary. I just want to taste the flavour, that's all. We're not doing any punishment here today. Let me give it a quick wash. These are meant to have a good flavour. The jigsaw it's a flavourful pepper. Yeah, I'm stuttering, I can't speak because I'm nervous. And Chili Chump does generally, when he's breeding, he breeds for like UK growth, UK productivity, which is amazing because he's been growing them for years in our climate. They grow really well, but also flavour, for his hot sauces. You can do it. Oh, geez, Louise. Okay. Oh, boy. No, I mean, I have had the most pathetic nibble on that. You can't even tell. Oh, God. Ooh, having a little reaction there. That is, ooh. No. No. Let's just pop that down. No, I'm not doing that today. If you want to see me tasting some super hots, yeah, have a look at that last episode, but they weren't that hot. Unfortunately, I didn't get any flavour from that one, and I'm just not doing it. Good news though, okay, so That was all slightly negative, not a great harvest from any of those, really. Some medium harvest, a couple more tiny sweet peppers, that didn't go well. One thing has gone well, and that is the habaneros, which are taking up a good third of this basket. Now, this is an auto-pot harvest, and although this is a fantastic harvest, come on, it should be better. The harvests I've had from autopots in previous years have just been unbelievable. Now, given the year, this is a fantastic harvest. There's still a few pods that I've left on the plant, but the killer thing about these this year, these pods are huge. Look at that, the site 3 is like the size of my hand. They are absolutely gigantic, and for habaneros, I love it. Normally my pods are kind of, I don't know, they're a lot smaller than this, These are really, really good sized, and I have tried some of these, and the flavour is incredible. Habaneros are just like, they're renowned for their flavour, and it's been quite a long time since I did a red habanero, because in the past, when I first started growing chilies, they were just a bit too hot for me. Now I think they're bang on. I think I'm going to make a really nice habanero sauce. I'm struggling a little bit still with the heat. That is ridiculous. I mean, normally you can get away with a little bit, but yes, I've tasted the habaneros. Nice level of heat. They're hot, don't get me wrong, but the flavour, incredible. One silver lining about the not so great chili harvest this year, I'm already excited for next year. I'm already excited to get the next one going. But that said, next year the plan is to scale back a little bit, because I've got lots of events coming up during the year that are going to see me away from the allotment for quite a long time. I've made some promises to Jess that I'm going to scale back a little bit, so we've got a bit more freedom to go on some travels, some adventures and that sort of thing, because being tied down to the plot it's a little tricky. Basically, I will still have, the plan is anyway, to still have the autopots, but I'm going to need a bit more automation set up, because we want to be able to have a bit more freedom to go away and do a few things. My mouth is still on fire. But, I'm still going to be growing chilies, obviously, and I'm still going to be doing the allotment, but maybe a little bit scaled back next year. And it's not just the chili harvesting that I've been doing in here. I got a little bit carried away, as I always do, in the polytunnel. I really enjoy it, though, just clearing up. Very, very fun. You can see lots and lots of green, lots of dead chili plants, basically, that have been culled off now. I did get rid of pretty much every single one. There's a few tiny red ones on there that I've left, and the habaneros, and that's it. Everything else has been chopped up and it's just left to kind of break down on these beds a little bit. I won't be leaving it like this. At some point I'll need to give it a tidy up, but a lot of these leaves and everything should die back and get incorporated, more organic matter for the soil. Just looks a bit untidy, but that's fine. Don't worry about that. We've got all the pots stacked up. I do need to go through all these, save all that compost, spent compost for next year. It's nice now having all this space on the other side. You can see all of the mouse damage, all the little bits of shredded chilies from the mice that they've been eating. A lot of digging under there. I wonder if that's where they came in. I don't really know. The autopots will stay here for now. I'm just hoping that the habanero will do a little bit more ripening, because there's a few on there. Champion is done. I haven't cut that back yet. I have turned the tap off to stop all the roots going all horrible in here. So in a few weeks, when I come to do all the pots, that will be much nicer to deal with. I mentioned I'm excited for next year. But the thing I am so excited for is clearing this stuff up properly. There are scaffolding boards on the floor. There are battening boards all the way along here. There's bits of old shed from the shed recycling all over the bed. There's all this timber that runs along here. There's these shelves. There's a few shelves that I've just chucked outside because they were in the way. I cannot wait to just get that all shifted. I'm probably going to stack a lot of it up in the shed. There is also bags of manure, and I thought, storing these in the polytunnel would be really good, because it will keep them dry, basically nice and dry. It'll stop them going all mank and horrible. It's a nice idea, but I actually hate having them in here. I hate, now that I know there's mice and like pest problems, I want to sort of keep it tidier and cleaner and just prevent there being lots of hiding spaces, basically. And having a whole corner of the polytunnel like that, not a good idea. So at some point, I need to sort that, and basically this is just giving me more and more reason and more ammunition to build a nice big overhang for the shed roof and like a nice covered storage area for things like manure, compost, timber, my lawnmower. There are so many things that I could do with just covering half the plot, to be honest, just for storage. I know Steve used to have, you know, sheds and sheds and sheds, and he built this massive pallet shed just to store all his timber. You know, you just end up accumulating stuff and you need somewhere to store it. And it has been an absolute nightmare having it all in here. Like, I've hated it so much. Like, these scaffolding boards, every time you walk on them, they go all over the place. They're noisy, you're always falling over. Oh, I'm really excited to have all of this properly tidied up. This has worked pretty well, the membrane. I'm kind of happy with it. I could do with a lot more leveling though. Will that happen this winter? That would be amazing if it did. Probably not going to. Right, I think we're done in the polytunnel. Sorry, stop talking, JB. Just been going off on a tangent. It's been a little while since I've been up here and filming. So it's like therapy, isn't it? Just talking to everyone about the plans for the tunnel and how it's coming along. Anyway, next up, let's look at that sweet potato. My hopes aren't high. But the plant has looked pretty good. Let's have a dig around. It has looked okay. I've not given it too much love and attention over the course of the season. I must admit, I've just let it do its thing. A little bit of feeding, mostly kind of nitrogen feed, bit of seaweed, just to keep it ticking over. It does have a heinous looking growth at the top there. I have just seen this chili, which I've kind of been ignoring, the Thunder Mountain Longhorn in the ground. This is definitely the most successful chili I've had in the ground, but it's not done much realistically. There's maybe 1-2 chilies on there worth eating, the rest looking not okay. But look in here, can you see that? It's like it needed earthing up, and I didn't notice that until way too late in the season. But let me try and get it out of here if I can. I've probably got to do this in the polytunnel. It's the only place I'll be able to put you. Right. I do wish I hadn't watered this recently, because I think this is going to be a little unpleasant. I probably only watered it a week ago, but it's not been very sunny, has it? So all that water is still in here. Let's see. This is... If this had been not on top, that would be quite nice, wouldn't it? Unfortunately. Oh, it's got loads of little slips coming off the top. That would also be nice if it wasn't the depths of winter. This might be all we get, folks. This might be it. Put that to one side, just in case that's all we get. This is the volunteer pepper. Get rid of you. Came to nothing, unfortunately, but... Oh, no, don't get rid of those. Right, moment of truth. Let's have a look. Oh, there's something. There's something. Oh, it could be tiny, though. It's not tiny. It's not tiny. Come on. Oh, there it is. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Hello. That's not bad. Okay. There's a little tiddler. That's a normal potato size. Oh. That's more what I was expecting. This kind of like thin, long one. Okay. That's not great. That one is not great. Hey, that one's not bad. There's quite a lot of tubers in here that have tried to start. I wonder if they've just not had enough room in this, this is just a 30-litre pot. Mostly with compost. This feels like mostly compost, but I think probably some spent compost. And maybe a little bit of soil. This feels very heavy. I can't remember what I put in here, to be honest. Oh, I think that's it, you know. I think there's one good one. It might have just caught me out. It's a cruel mistress, isn't it, gardening? Just got this bag of spent compost. You know what I'm like. This is premium stuff. You don't want to just get rid of it. I would chuck it on the beds behind me, but they're actually quite high. So I want to be quite careful about how much I put on there. Otherwise they'll start to spill over. Yeah, my hopes are dwindling. I think that is it, which is oh so cruel. I was so excited when I saw that first one. There's nothing else in here. No. Yeah, look, that's your lot. Oh, look at that, coming out the side. Okay, folks, are you ready for the reveal? JB's sweet potato harvest results. It's a resounding failure. Look at that. One hand's worth of potato. Oh dear me. It is nice that there's one. There's one sweet potato here, which is like, yeah, that's pretty good. That's decent, isn't it? I think the most annoying, most frustrating thing about this is I saw Tony's crop, and not only is he growing up north, but he harvested his like 6 weeks ago or something, you know, just ages ago, and he did so much better. His were in a 50-litre tub, and you know, maybe that was the secret. I don't know. Tony seems to have got away with everything this year, though. While everyone else has been having a tough year, he must have had a little special something going on in his plot. So, hey ho, it's not the end of the world, is it? You know, I don't regret trying it. It was a fun experiment. Maybe not the best spending of money. I think the sweet potato slips were something like £13 or something like that. So, false economy, I think, on that one. But you know, hey ho. Yeah, it's fun to try new things, isn't it? I'd love to try them again next year. Maybe I'd try them more in the ground. There's not really anything I'd do different. I'd probably use a 30-litre pot again. I'm not going to buy a 50-litre pot just for some sweet potatoes. But maybe next year we'll have a bit more luck. My camera died midway through speaking, so I'm not sure what I just said there, but I don't know. It's been a good day. It's been a good day at the allotment. It's a shame about the sweet potato harvest. Mainly, I think I'm just jealous because I know how well Tony's did. But hey ho, it's really nice to get that little slabbing job done. It's only a little thing, but I was a little bit down, to be honest, because when I finished the shed, the momentum just kind of crashed. That's not what I was hoping for or really expecting. I thought I'd get the shed done and then want to be down here all the time using the shed, like celebrating sort of thing. And to be honest, once I'd done, I needed a bit of a break. And I say needed, I mean, I came up a few times and just wasn't feeling it. You know, those times it didn't help that it was freezing and, you know, miserable weather as well. But just struggling to really get stuck into the allotment for a little while. And then you start to worry, like, oh, when's the mojo going to come back? But it's only been a couple of weeks. And over time, you get used to it, ebbing and flowing, you know. Talk about that all the time. So just one of those things. And it's just so nice to lose myself in a task today, you know, just put my head down in the polytunnel. I think I spent about a good hour and a half just clearing up, tidying up and all that kind of stuff after the chilies. So good chili harvest as well. Thank you ever so much for joining me. An extra special thank you to all of my Chilli Pepper tier patrons, Tony, Bill, Pam, Mel, Michael, Socks, Dorcas, Louise, Andre and Brett. That's a first take. Get in. Hopefully I'll see you again next time.